Trading Places.
Yes, that's right, it does. Was that in Trading Places, or was it similar?
Yeah, no, that's what they play at the beginning of the movie.
Right, okay, yeah, that's fine. Now, do you know what that is?
It's Marriage of Figaro, isn't it?
How do you know that?
Well, because
I told you.
Well, no,
I told
it's one
you.
of those it's one of those pieces, like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Yeah.
If you play it, everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, I think I probably told you. Anyway, listen, the reason I'm playing that is from one of my journals, right, and it was the History of Music journal that I was actually reading at the time.
The History of Music journal?
Yes, History of Classical Music.
Is that one of those things you can buy from, like, the back of the paper? You know, when they go, if you'd like to have, the most sort of comprehensive guide to whatever it is that you want to have the comprehensive guide to.
Yes.
You know, alongside things like garden shears and those trousers you can buy and funny shoes.
Yes.
You buy, like, the History of Music, parts 1 to 12.
No, I just keep in touch with all the educational publishing houses in this country.
It's just your knowledge of music is so wide-ranging.
Many of them who are registered at the Bodleian Library, the world's most famous library at Oxford University, where Brasenose College is, where I went for an interview, okay? I keep in touch with these...
How did that go?
These fine... never mind that. I keep in touch with these fine academic establishments, and I've learnt from new research that Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart could have been murdered by a dastardly individual called Antonio Salieri.
Oh, yeah. Who was he?
Now, well, this is interesting. Salieri... let me see who he was. He was, he was a bad guy. And remember, these two were in Vienna in the 1780s, but they both fell in love with a beautiful opera singer called, Sterassi.
Sterassi?
Yeah, I think
it was one name. It was a bit like Madonna.
Yeah.
Only one name.
No, her
Sterassi.
name... No, her name was... Hang on.
Are you sure you've highlighted the right bits here?
No, I haven't highlighted anything. This is my research from this afternoon.
You've got to highlight it.
Right, here we go. The Marriage of Figaro was inspired by a beautiful lady called Nancy Sterassi. So her name was Nancy, actually. Not
Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy.
Unusual name, isn't it?
She was
a European woman of that time.
Yes, that's right. But listen, she was an accomplished young English singer who dazzled audiences in 18th century Vienna and enthralled both composers as well as their patron, Emperor Joseph II of... where's Vienna? Austria, that's right, yeah. Okay.
By the way, apparently Vienna's been voted the most pleasant place to live.
Well, I like Vienna. I think it's a beautiful city. Anyway, point of story is, she was the mistress to Emperor Joseph II. Yeah. But of course, Amadeus Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, was the court composer. But... a guy who vied for both the job and the lady involved, the wench of the court, so to speak, was this other guy, Antonio Salieri. Oh, yeah. Okay? Right. Now then, let me tell you what this guy got up to. They were rival composers in 1780. In 1785, who's this? Oh, yeah, Signor... What's that?
Well,
what are you laughing at?
Because it's very hard to follow this story.
No, hang on. One of them wrote a piece called Signor Cornetti.
Oh, yeah.
Not one cornetto, which I know you're going to make a joke of.
I'm not going to make a joke about that.
And what happened was, they wanted Nancy Sterassi to sing it.
Oh, yeah.
Now then, Sterassi... Oh, no, that's Nancy, sorry. Nancy was a mesmerising performer. Really? It says in the journal here. Yeah. Even more important...
I'm reading here that she lost her voice in a catastrophic performance.
She did. Even more, she was the mistress of the Austrian Emperor Joseph II.
Blimey.
The cantata, which had been composed for her, was always known as, for some unknown reason, K477A.
What?
I don't know why it was.
I've never known it as that.
It was always
cantata.
It was always known as K477A.
It sounds like one of those stars that they named. Yeah,
it does actually. In Cocciol's catalogue of Mozart's music. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, what little has been heard and seen so far suggests she's skillfully. I don't know what this is all about, actually. Let's go back to what you said.
What are you talking about?
Nancy Sterassi was only 19, but an established star in Vienna when, and you've just preempted this, she fell ill on stage. Yeah. Something went wrong with her vocal cords, and she spent the next 4 months recovering. Some observers said her voice was never the same again. Yeah. Having been born in London, she was a child prodigy, Prodigy.
Prodigy,
yeah. Who went on to become the inspiration on the first incarnation of Mozart's character Susanna in The Marriage of Figaro.
Okay.
Which we've just played.
Indeed.
So you see the circle is completed there.
The circle is indeed completed.
Yeah.
She was also married at one point, apparently.
Apparently she was.
But that didn't go well.
One critic, writing in 1783, was also captivated by her. He said, her beautiful eyes, her white neck, her beautiful throat, her fresh mouth. What's it? Sorry, what's
this was about Mozart being poisoned.
No, well, it is.
Well, why haven't you mentioned that?
Because this is just to prove how beautiful she was,
right.
And this is what they fought over, okay?
So who poisoned her then? Haydn?
No, she didn't get poisoned. This dreadful, villainous Antonio Salieri...
Yeah, but where does he come into it then?
Well, he poisoned Mozart.
Well, yeah, but...
For the love of Nancy Sterassi.
But you didn't mention him in the past, though.
What?
What's he got to do with Nancy?
Well, I just kept explaining to you. You should have been listening, you idiot.
I am listening.
Mozart fancied Nancy Sterassi and wrote The Marriage of Figaro to highlight her beautiful singing voice and her beauty.
Where does the other guy come in?
Well, he wanted Nancy for himself.
Right.
So he claimed to have written the piece I just told you about, Signor Canetti.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted her to sing it, but her voice had gone, so she couldn't.
Uh-huh.
So that meant that then he had to try and seek her affections through other means. He couldn't write stuff for her anymore, okay?
Did he end up with her then after he poisoned Mozart? Is that what you're saying?
What?
Did he end up with her after he poisoned Mozart?
Well, this is not clear.
Right.
This is what I'm getting to. Now, the problem was that she had an affair with Mozart while she was still the mistress of the emperor.
Yeah.
Nancy Sterassi was an extremely popular singer who performed works by both Mozart and then under duress by Salieri, the villainous guy. Antonio.
Oh, so he's a composer as well?
He was. I explained that to you. You should have been listening.
No, you didn't.
I said they were rival composers.
Yeah, right. Well, not really. I mean, I've never heard of this guy, but I have heard of Mozart.
And then...
So he clearly wasn't as good as Mozart, was he?
And then Kristina Vapilova from the Czech National Museum, which hosted the first... Oh, I see. No, she's not from
This is a shambles.
She's not from the 18th century.
It's a complete shambles.
She lives now.
This is worse than...
She found a manuscript.
This is worse than your supposed explanation of private schools and their influence on public life.
No. Anyway, what happened was, in the end, the legend of the evil Salieri destroying his more talented junior peer, because Salieri was older than him, was first dramatised in Mozart and Salieri by Alexander Pushkin. You know who he is, don't you?
Yeah, I've heard of him,
Yeah, the Russian poet in 1830.
Yeah.
But a Hollywood movie was made in 84. Now new evidence has come to light. We all know the picture drawn up of Mozart. hang on, by the movie Amadeus is false. Salieri did not poison Mozart,
right?
But they both worked in Vienna and competitors.
Oh well, so glad we've cleared that up then.
Yeah.
So he didn't poison him?
He didn't poison him in the end, no. I thought he had, actually. But apparently...
Western James has tweeted, along with many others.
Oh, yes?
What on earth is Porky talking about right now?
What?
I'm dazed and confused.
Why?
Danny says, if Mike Parry's ever struggling to sleep, he should play this story back on his cassette player.
Don't be ridiculous. It's a fascinating story. We all love Wolfgang Amadeus, don't we?
Well, yes, but he wasn't poisoned, after all. So the names of all these people who have up until now remained pretty well unknown.
Yes, that's true.
Have got no relevance really to anything.
You know, in The Clockwork Orange, didn't the bloke who led that lot? He was a devotee of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
He did like
wasn't
a bit of classical music.
Yeah, I knew it. You see, I knew it.
Paul says this: my band's album.
Many angles on this.
Yeah, my band's album is now available on cassette. Our record label specialise in vinyl, but now do cassettes as well.
Oh.
A lot of small labels do it.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Right, coming up, it's time for Porky Vision, which I'm sure won't be anywhere near as ridiculously kind of unhinged as that last segment.